Hi, everyone. Welcome to our student panel discussion this evening. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to have a look on student life, coming to London, and give you a little bit of an insight of LCC and what it's all about. That's all for me. I'm going to move on and get an introduction from our current students.
Hi everyone, my name is Sukriti and I'm a second year interaction design student from India. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Katrina and I am a third year BA journalism student. Originally I'm from Slovakia and I'm graduating this year from my degree. Next slide, please.
Hi everybody, my name is Adriana and I'm a second year public relations student and I'm originally from Poland.
So one of the biggest changes that you would face when coming into university, I mean, there's a lot of them, to be honest, and the first one would be academic changes. Some of you might be coming from an A-level background or an international board background, where some of you might be coming from your home country's background. So there's a change in the academics, obviously, and a lot of it becomes self-driven. So as you turn into an adult, essentially, you kind of have to learn to balance your own education and your own timetable. You also get a lot more independent with things. So they expect you to be able to manage your own classes, choose your own classes, and take responsibility for your learning. There's also specializations that you could do at UAL where you have a specific interest and you can take that on yourself and then go across the building or across campuses and learn different things. We also have focused areas where you can get specific advice related to your career, or where you'd be able to meet people in industry and attend in networking events. So yeah. Moving to London.
So yes, moving to London, it can be a little bit of a shock at first if you haven't lived in the London or it's your first time being in London in terms of financing. Because, as you probably know, or you might not know, but London is very expensive to live in. But there are ways how to manage as a student. So there is plenty of support even from UAL or other websites or applications that you can use, such as Too Good To Go, Uni Days, Student Beans, which can give you a list of different like budget-friendly options from food, retail, and different, for example, even gym that you can join. So I personally used Student Beans for most of my time at the university, especially for my gym. And I really found it very useful, and because I found so many discounts there, and it wasn't so much expensive for me. I recommend that you have a monthly budget and that you basically spend accordingly and you keep track of your expenses. This can be a good practice because you know how much you spend on that month, and it can become easier for you to manage your expenses, whether you go eat out or do things around the city. It's nice to have that. I personally manage my expenses. I basically, my bank always tells me how much I spend in that month. So I think it's a good idea for you to consider. But it's very individual, so it depends on your finances, how you are going to manage it or how much you can afford. So I recommend checking in advance. Next slide, please.
So accommodation at UAL, UAL has both like accommodation for students in particular, so they have specific UAL accommodation, but they also provide services if you plan to live outside of halls or try and get a flat with other people. So they have a massive portfolio all across London, and you can find accommodation close to different campuses. I think one of the best things about living in UAL accommodation is the fact that you get to meet people from different courses and different colleges. And when you need to, you can collaborate on projects together. And it's a great way of making new friends, I think. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I've lived in halls for 2 years. To find out more about halls and stuff, you can go on the link, which is on the screen, and you'll be able to find whichever hall is closest to, or whichever one you'd be interested in living in.
So yeah, in terms of accommodation, you will probably think about it when coming to UAL and to live in London. Especially, you can choose between private accommodations, or you can choose to live at your own. In my first year, I was living at the UAL accommodation in North Acton. I really enjoyed it because I felt less lonely, and it was easier for me to adapt as a new student. So from my experience, I highly recommend it because, you know, there are always some activities happening, and you are together with other UAL students. But if you feel more comfortable living on your own, there are plenty of options, and you can really meet different people and experience your university whole experience. I mean, completely on a different level. So yeah, it's completely up to you what you decide. There is also UAL accommodation support if you need it. I personally contacted them a few times. They helped me very much. So yeah, if you are thinking about this, please consider contacting them. And yeah, it's good practice also to do some research on your own. And if in doubt, then contact the adequate, basically, support. Please, next slide.
So expenses in university. This is about a rough monthly budget for someone. They've given both extremes. So your rent can range anywhere from £700 a month to 950, including bills. If you're in halls, it might cost slightly more than that. And in that also does include heating, water, general bills, internet, electricity. Um, I think it's got more expensive now, but it's definitely still, I think, a good option considering living in halls, considering all of the bills are included. Traveling can cost anywhere from £50 to £100, and if you get a travel card, it can be cheaper. There's also a rail card that you could get, which would discount your travel by 1/3. I know that a travel card from zone 1 to 3 in London costs about £128 because that's how much it cost me when I have to go. Entertainment, so whether that be that would be essentially any of your subscriptions or anything that you signed up to, about £100 a month. Groceries would be 100 to 150, depending on how much you spend, how much you cook, and how much you eat out. Eating out, once again, 50 to 150, and charity just depends on how much you choose to give. On this presentation, it's listed at 0, but it could vary from person to person. So yeah.
I'm going to talk to you about student life in London. And I want to start by saying that, you know, there will be so many opportunities for you to socialize and to get involved and meet new people. And as you start your year, I would strongly encourage you to attend the welcome events that LCC offers. So during your Freshers Week, there will be like a bunch of like online panels, on-site classes and activities. So that's, that's the stuff that's meant to be like an icebreaker for you. I remember my friends did like pottery or yoga, and I attended some of them myself, but I attended the ones that were more academically focused, I would say, where I met my first uni friends and some, other people from my course. But throughout the year, you're gonna have like so many other opportunities to meet people. Some of them will be provided by your course, like guest lectures, for example. In my first year, I attended all of them. And because of that, I met just so many people from also a second and a third year of my course. But I would say like it's also useful to look for stuff yourself. For example, I use Eventbrite. And I believe some of the UAL welcome events are organized with Eventbrite too. And I used to find events like during the Freshers Week. It's like holiday parties, other fun activities around the city. Some of them are paid, but some of them are free. And most importantly, I was kind of focusing on networking events and like career fairs I could go to. And there's always like a bunch of people attending those. So don't be afraid to try things out. And London has just so many things to offer. And even if you're not like a party person like myself, you'll still find ways to socialize. And I also want to mention some of the things you can do around Elephant and Castle. Like if me and my friends have like a longer break in between lectures or after class, we usually just go out to eat like around the corner. So right next to us, we have Pret, we have Sainsbury's, we also have Nando's and Spoons. There's a great ramen. It's called Koi Ramen. It's like a 5-minute walk from us. There's also McDonald's close by, and my favorite is Mercato Metropolitano, which is like 5 minutes away as well. And they also have their own like kitchen that you can cook at. Mercato, I guess you could call it like a food hall. So it's basically like a place with, a million food stalls and bars, and you can just grab food and hang out there. There's also like a lot of like uni events organized there. We usually went there with our class to socialize. And it's also just very pretty. Like I go there pretty often, like I would say even like twice a week. But if you can't be bothered to leave the building, we also have a darkroom bar at LCC, which is open every day of term time. From 4 p.m. And it is exclusive to UAL students and staff. And you can have drinks, you can hang out with your friends or like play pool or darts for free. Next slide, please. Another great way to socialize is through Art Student Union. So Art Student Union is a student-led organization that every UAL student is automatically a part of. There's a representation and democracy team, and every course has a student representative, and every school has a school rep that operates on more of like a college level. I am both course representative and a media school representative, and I found this role very, very, fulfilling to me, very rewarding, because of that role, I just had an opportunity to meet so many other students and talk to them, hear their voices, hear their opinions, and just do our best to make our uni experience better and better. And we're all super proactive, and it's a great community for people who, like speaking out, who like sharing, organizing events, and just making sure everyone, has a great time. And you'll have a chance to get involved in your first year and even apply for bigger roles, such as school rep later on, if you're interested in that sort of thing. But that's not all, because Art Student Union also has societies and sports clubs. And okay, I counted over 60 of active societies among all UAL colleges that you can join. Some of them require like small payments here and there for like equipment and activities, but most of the societies are free of charge for just joining. And there's a range of societies you can join. They all have like different focuses. Some of them are like strictly academic and career oriented, like advertising, fashion business society, Google development, but some of them are more creative, like ceramics, art curation, poetry, publishing, literally anything. There are also like societies that are all about like your culture and faith, where you can connect with people who share the same values and celebrate the same holidays as you. Other than that, there's a bunch of like general interest societies like film, book club, even like Taylor Swift, and a bunch of other, but yeah, I could be listing them all night. You can also join a sports club, and we have hockey, dance, cheerleading, boxing, run club, football, skate and blade, and we have so many others. I counted 29 in total of active sports clubs right now. But you know, even if you still can't find anything for yourself, you always have an option of just setting up your own club. And yeah, and I would also like to ask others about their experience with clubs and societies. Suki, could I start with you? Could you tell us more about like joining a society that you've been at, and how did it go for you?
So I'm currently the treasurer for the Indian Society, so I get to hold a lot of events and I get to be in touch with a lot of staff members as well. And it's been good networking with people, I think both at a staff level and a student level. And you kind of build a nice community of people outside of your hometown or your home country through these societies, because culturally they kind of come together for festivals or like just generally. I think it's comforting to be around people who speak the same language as you and understand the references and stuff. So yeah, it's been a good time with the Indian Society, I guess.
Thank you. Katarina, could I ask you as well?
Yeah, sure. So in my first year, I joined the dance society. I remember I paid like £5 for the whole year, and I could join any of their classes. I joined the contemporary classes, and I met many friends there, with who I'm still in touch with. So I think it was perfect opportunity for me to socialize with new people and just to get to know people from UAL. It's fantastic opportunity. I would highly recommend anyone coming to UAL to really get themselves into those clubs and societies. It's fantastic opportunity.
Thank you. Can we have the next slide, please? So LC also offers a variety of facilities. They're both college-wide facilities, which means they're accessible to everyone at uni, and also course-specific. They're only accessible to students on that specific course. And all of the facilities are managed by technical coordinators who are available on site to assist you with your projects. There's also an online resource booking system where you can sign up for like workshops, inductions, book study spaces, and equipment. So I have here all the examples of facilities that we offer. So the library with a common area for group work and also quiet study area for individual work. And as I mentioned, you can also book study spaces. I always get like a small room upstairs in the library that's like isolated from everyone else. And me and my group members, when we have a group project, we just sit there and work in peace, which is a great opportunity if you don't have that quiet corner in your accommodation and you would just like to kind of, go to the library, spend your time there. We also have the kit room where you can rent out the equipment. It's free and staff will help you pick out what you need and help you set it up as well. I rented a bunch of like tripods and microphones last year to make a podcast episode, and the kid room stuff was like very, very helpful because I had no idea what to pick out. It was my first time working with like microphones and stuff, so I got a lot of help from them. Also, when I was making my first like little content creation project, they also helped me with my own camera, so it was very, very good experience overall. We also have a printing facility which includes printmaking, letterpress, print finishing, and digital printing, and it's huge. And because LC was like known as London College of Printing first, so there's just a lot of projects you can execute there. We also have digital space where you can work on your project or sign up for workshops. I completed 3 courses so far. I did Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Procreate, and Illustrator. And it's a great opportunity if you want to get those qualifications, for a lower price. We also have Creative Technology Lab, Interactive Computing, 3D workshops, film photography, TV, sound arts, game design studios, but also any editing, processing facilities for your like post-production processes. Next slide, please. Okay, next I'm going to talk about career and employability at LCC. It is basically anything that has to do with supporting your career during your studies and after your graduation. So first we have art temps, which allows all students to, pick up a little side hustle. It could be a part-time job, it could be just gigs, or like a little work experience here and there on the side. And a great example is what we're doing now as student ambassadors. So we're all LCC student ambassadors, and we organize events like this. We get a chance to do open days, online panels, Q&As like this one, and also like a bunch of other stuff. But there's like, a variety of things. They can complement your career, or they can be like something like super different, super random. For example, there are like bartending jobs at events, also modeling. Sometimes they want to bring models from like to other colleges for like shows and stuff. You also have like content creation opportunities, which, it's a great way to just improve your portfolio and some extra money on the side. But careers and employability is not only that. So-called The Place, employability office, offers workshops on CV, on portfolio advice, and other industry related information. You can also sign up to a one-to-one session and have someone like actually guide you through your application process. And when you apply for an internship or like a graduate scheme, they can help you navigate that process as a whole. And they'll show you where to apply, how to apply. There are lots of job opportunities that they'll just let you know about and send you links, which is super useful because I just kind of look at the newsletter, and now since I'm a second year, I'm applying to a lot of internships. So I find it very useful to just go and check what career and employability has, what kind of stuff they have for us. And yeah, it's really nice to have that type of mentorship right when we start our studies, because it can be pretty stressful applying to jobs because it's pretty competitive. But with the career and the employability, we have mentors that actually can help us do all that. So I guess it becomes less scary once you actually get into that and get that advice. Can I have the next slide, please? And we also have academic support. So it's there to basically like support your day-to-day learning and kind of make it easier to manage learning in the long term. They offer a range of different workshops and classes. International students are usually encouraged to attend language support classes, which is like very, very helpful to get that, extra skill boost before you start working on your assignments. If you're a bit unsure about your language, or you're worried that there may be some language barrier and you may not perform to the best of your abilities because of it on your assessments, they're there to help you right at the start, so you don't feel like that's stopping or limiting you. And if you need any extra help with writing, research, or other projects, you can also book one-to-one sessions and have a tutor from academic support sit with you and help you, how to structure your essay with your writing style. They can advise you on referencing and research in general, and they can just help you work on your academic performance in general when it comes to assignments. So there's always someone to reach out to, someone that can help you if you're unsure or worried that, if you're meeting the academic standards and getting the grades you deserve. And also there are like extra workshops for like creative writing and just writing in general, and anything that has to do with research, finding information, anything that has to do with studying, basically. But for even more support, you can always apply for the peer mentoring scheme when you're matched with an older mentor. And it's a student, so it's a second or a third year students. who experience the same as you, basically, and they guide you through, what university has to offer, make it easier to navigate your first year of study and seek out opportunities. And I'm a peer mentor myself, and I usually get to schedule about one session every 2 weeks with the student to catch up, and they can tell me what they're looking for to improve, and what they want to get involved at uni, and I can help them arrange that and kind of find those opportunities. And overall, I think it's a great experience that I also wish I had, because I feel like it's just nice to have someone who experienced the same as you, and they can help you within that student to student interaction, and they just understand your struggles and worries. Next slide, please.
So the Diploma in Professional Studies, or the DPS year, is an extra year that you take after your second year. And it's essentially 100 days of placement in industry. And when you graduate, it says you've graduated with a diploma in professional studies. So it'll say your degree, so BA, honors, and say interaction design arts. And then with that, it would say with diploma in professional studies. And I haven't personally done this yet. I do plan on doing it, so I'm currently in the classes for it. And in these classes, they also do teach you how to build a portfolio, how to write a resume, how to make sure that you're entering the industry with your best foot forward. You have to find an internship by yourself, but I do think that irrespective, it's a very intensive, and I also do think it's a very good way of preparing yourself for what the industry is going to be like. And yeah, essentially, that's what Diploma in Professional Studies is.
So yes, there is a very specific program that UAL offers. It's called Enterprise Experience Program, and it's a program that aims at students who are from underrepresented backgrounds. So essentially someone who would not be able to take some unpaid work experience or internship, which in reality is a problem in London, because some of them are not paid. But what UAL offers is that this program offers you a paid one, and it's eligible for everyone studying at UAL. So as long as you're a student at UAL, you're eligible. And it is a fantastic opportunity to gain that real life work experience for your future career. Personally, I have done few work experiences, not through this program, but outside university. And I can honestly say that it has been fantastic opportunity for me to gain that real life experience. It has really broadened my horizon in what I want to do after I graduate. And I gained that necessary skills and contacts that I can really use after graduation. This specific program lasts for 6 weeks, and it is paid the London living wage. So basically, it's not like you will be paid less or more. It's a standard living wage for London. So yeah, this is what UAL offers, and I found it very interesting. Next slide, please. So a next great opportunity while you are a student at UAL is a study abroad programs. It is basically a semester abroad in your second year, usually. I've done it myself in my second year of BA journalism. We had to choose between Denmark or Spain. I chose Denmark. I went there for 6 months, and I've done an exchange program there. I went to a Danish university and studied journalism. It is a fantastic opportunity. It's really incredible. I will go back and do it again because I met fantastic people from all around the world. I could really develop my journalistic skills more, and see different culture, and really experience it. How is it to live in a different country? I'm from Slovakia. I moved to UK, and then I did this. So I'm kind of all in between. but yeah, for someone who has never been studying abroad, or even if you're aware, it's fantastic. Currently, there are 21 courses at LCC that offer these exchange opportunities in second year. But these courses do not, some courses at UAL, at LCC, do not offer this. So it's better to check in advance. This is mainly because some of the new courses are coming in, and some current courses are going through revalidation. So you don't have to really worry about this for now, but it is a good idea for you to think now that perhaps you could do it one day while you are a student at LCC. I would recommend this, and it is a fantastic opportunity for you and explore more and gain some more experience while you're a student. Next slide, please.
Thank you. That was really good. We're now going to move on kind of on a Q&A session. Just before we move on, if you have any questions about accommodation, more kind of like really specific questions about accommodation, student support, scholarships and fees, UK and EU admissions, international admissions, please feel free to email the emails that you see on our screen. We also have UniBuddy, and a couple of our students here are currently at UniBuddy. So if you have any specific questions, you can find them on UniBuddy, and feel free to ask more kind of like course specific or even more experience. So have a look on that as well. I think is it Katerina and Suki, you're in UniBuddy, or so?
Yes, I am at UniBuddy, and yeah, different prospective students contact me every day, and I answer all of their questions. So it's a good idea for you guys to explore this.
Perfect. So there are some questions on currently on our chat. So I'm gonna ask the first one. What type of career support does the uni provide?
Yeah,
So-
go ahead.
So as I spoke before, we have all the career and employability office, but really it depends on your course. I feel like your course leader will be kind of in charge of like seeing what people want to see and what people want to experience and kind of deliver that. So for me, I'm doing public relations, and we organize so many events. We have guest speakers coming in, and we have networking sessions with them. So we have a chance to listen to their experience and then go and speak to them, which is really important, that person, in-person contact with them, to be able to ask them about internship opportunities, to be able to apply. It gives you like a, great opportunity to kind of, actually speak to them, because sometimes it's hard to get through, hundreds and hundreds of applications from other students. And I feel like overall UAL is really good at navigating that. I feel like UAL is really heavy on that as well. Like a lot of people do internships, a lot of people get involved, and it's like, and it's a thing. Usually people aim to get a work experience either during summer, or they apply for DPS, or they do it. Usually like second year is like a heavy year when people actually start to like getting internships. But also you would get like a lot of support after your graduation, so you don't have to worry about that. And like I had a lot of opportunities already, even if that's through like being an ambassador, but also there's like just a lot of external stuff that they offer us. Like this May, I will be going with some of my colleagues to Milan to do a live brief for a client, which is a context. It's called Parolo, that we applied for, and that's what uni organized and like kind of allowed us to apply for, which is a great opportunity, because that's the first time we're gonna have like actual like a whole project to work with a client. So there's a lot of opportunities of that sort.
Amazing. I think also that answered another question that talked about what kind of, if you had any chance to do any work experience, collaborate with the industry, which clearly, you know, that opportunity to Milan is one of the experience like it's been given to you while studying at UAL. Another question we have is what sets UAL apart from other universities? Based on your experience, what do you think that is different from the other universities?
So I would say that, you know, I was the student that was kind of I didn't know which uni to go to. I feel like everyone, you know, is a bit unsure at the start, and I went to like multiple open days to other universities, but then I went to LCC, and I feel like LCC just has, or UAL in general, just has a very different feel to it. I feel like when you come to LCC, you kind of like feel that you're really immersed in that, you know, environment, just because, you know, we have so many facilities and so many opportunities here. Like I feel like LCC just breathes art in general. Like our whole like hallway is just full of like art and photography and just exhibitions and stuff, and they repaint it every week to have new exhibitions and stuff, and it just feels nice to be in like such a vibrant community in general. I feel like what drawn me as well was just looking how UAL is like active on social media and also like supports different causes. It was really important to me, and UAL is, you know, really inclusive when it comes to that. So I guess that's kind of why it won for me. But also like speaking to other students from other universities, you kind of have to decide on your own what type of learning you're looking for. If you're looking for more structured, supported academic learning, maybe, you know, maybe more academic type of university, traditional is better suited for you. But if you're looking for like a mix of practice, if you're looking for, you know, extra work experience and kind of that mix of academic study and practice, then UAL is great for it, because it's really important that with creative study you get that hands-on experience. So that's what stood out for me when it comes to UAL.
Great. I think that answered another question of that we have in there. If you go back to your first year, would you do something differently?
I think this isn't more about first year. I think this is more about before coming to uni. I would try to learn how to cook before coming to uni. So then I wouldn't be struggling with living alone that much. Because a lot of my first year was just me trying to adapt to a new place. And if I had certain skill sets beforehand, I would have done better. Not that it was ever like a competition to like, okay, I need to be winning, but it would have made my life a lot easier if I had certain skill sets and knew how to take care of myself. I don't know about first year. I don't think I would redo anything from first year though. I don't know about you guys. Would you?
No, I wouldn't have changed anything. I think like everything just went the way it just went like perfectly. I won't regret anything, or I wouldn't change anything.
I feel like I would seek out more opportunities. Like sometimes the first year, once you kind of get over those like first assignments and you kind of adapt, you kind of feel like you have more time to maybe explore, because the second year is, you know, heavier than the first year. And the first year I just wished I went and did more inductions and courses that I had time for. So there's, you know, so many of them. Like for every facility you have an induction, you can go, you can, you know, attend a workshop, you can learn other skills that you wouldn't normally be able to you know, access them. Like you're not just gonna, you know, be out there and get a letterpress introduction, you know. So it's very useful to have that skill and to use that opportunity. And also I think I would really want to like sign up for the peer mentoring scheme that I mentioned before, because it's just nice that you have someone older telling you what they've done and kind of what is there to experience. So you're sure that you're not missing out on anything.
That sounds great. I think there's a question for Suki. How was your first year of interaction design?
Okay, it was a bit crazy because the first brief we got within the first 2 weeks was to build a car or build a vehicle and then run around in the vehicle around London, completing a treasure hunt. My course is it's really fun, but it's also really out there. So you have to learn a lot of different kinds of things. And it's not as simple as, okay, we design for screens or we design for products. It's more like designing everything that anyone can interact with. So my first year consisted of a lot of insane projects that I wouldn't ever imagine myself doing anywhere else, but it was very, very fun. So I hope that answers the question.
Did you also feel like that you got skills that you can use in the industry as well through these different tasks as well that you did, and also not only in your first year but throughout studying with that course?
I think so, yes. I think I got skills very it's like there's no one that's ever gonna I think in all of UAL, no one's ever going to sit down and be like, okay, this is how you should learn this. But through the projects and through the kind of briefs that you get, you learn what industry standard is and you learn how to execute your projects in a very specific way that you feel like you've learned stuff as per formal setup as well. I can't explain it any better, but essentially, if you're supposed to be learning this much, you kind of end up learning this much. And that's because of the project briefs and everything that you're taught along the way as well. So yeah, I think I have learned stuff through interaction design that way.
Moving on with we have a question about tutoring work. So do you get one-on-one with your tutor, or do you have pre-planned meetings, and can you reach out without limitations?
So overall, I feel like UAL is really good on like communication with your tutor. Usually the seminar groups that you have are, small enough for you to have like a day-to-day contact with your tutor, and tutors are really good at, responding on your emails, meetings and stuff. You can always meet your tutor, you can always have a catch up. Before every assessment, you always have tutorials that you can be like, hey, this is what I have, this is what I struggle with, this is what I don't know, can you help me? And they kind of help you before your assignment, so that you can, submit your best quality work. But there's no limit to like contacting your tutor. There's no like wait lists or stuff like that. There are some schedules when it gets busier, like for the tutorials and like the exam season and stuff, but like overall throughout the year, you can just message them whenever you want and whenever you have any questions. And it's not only about your studies, but they are also your mentors. So it's not that they just teach you stuff and you just ask questions about what you learned, but you can also ask them like general industry questions, things that you worry about, things that you want to do with your career, how you want to progress, and they'll support that to the best of their abilities.
That's really good, thank you. I'm just going to move into another question. Has any of you had any experience with the Enterprise Experience Program?
No.
No, I haven't.
That's fine. There will be there are a lot of information, and I think as open holders, you will be receiving a lot of information about all the different programs that there are in the course, about employability and what we call the place. as we mentioned in one of our slides. But feel free to have a look on our website and see in each course and see what they have been doing as well. And next question is, are there any events for offer holders, prospective students before the start of the year?
I believe there are open days which are coming up. I'm not sure the exact dates. Do either of you know? Does anyone know?
There is a face-to-face offer holder day, but there also a thing with that question. What I think is, are you looking for kind of the fresher week? Have you had any experience with the freshers week? What I'll do is I'll mention that we do have a face-to-face offer holder day that you will also be receiving more details via your email. So keep an eye on that. But when it comes to actually before starting the year, we have the Freshers Week, as we call it, that has a lot of different activities. Would you like to talk a little bit more about it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you. So yeah, basically like the Freshers Week, I feel like they call it Big Welcome, am I right? Yeah. So there's like a bunch of events organized like the first week, there are no classes and it's just like a, week with, it's not scheduled, you don't have to like attend, like you don't have a set schedule, you just kind of sign up for whatever you want. And I feel like a big thing, and the one that I found the most useful, is the Welcome Fair. It's usually held at CSM and it's for all the students from UAL. You kind of just come together, and it's for societies and clubs, and you kind of just, meet people, meet different kind of, all the societies, but also you meet the democracy team from student union and everyone else. There's like academic support desk as well. So you just kind of have like a general idea of what's going on at university, and you can start signing up for like introduction sessions, and you can just, start meeting people from your clubs. But like there's a lot of like random stuff too. Like I mentioned, my friends did like yoga and pottery, and there's like a bunch of like fun stuff. Some of it is also like academically focused if you want to do like some creative writing, stuff like that. So there's just a bunch of other things. Like the schedule was full as I remember it, and I just had a chance to just go to a few of them.
Thank you. Another question is that do you like living in London, and what are the ups and downs?
Yeah, I love living in London since the first year, because London is such a multicultural city, and it's always something happening here, whether it is events or yeah, something else. So there is always something going on. You can always do something. But it can be very lonely sometimes, especially when you don't have as many like friends yet, or if you are not involved in some activities. So yeah, it can be very lonely, but I would recommend just in your first year to always push yourself as much as possible into everything that is on offer, whether it is from UIL or from something else. Just go for it. Don't feel shy. Don't feel like you don't know anyone. Everyone is on the same boat. So everyone is going through the same thing. So I would recommend just pushing yourself, and then it becomes easier later while you're a student at UAL and in London. Like you adapt better, you know what to expect and how to deal with things. So I will highly recommend just socialize and go for any events that's out there.
There's another question. Are there any ways to earn kind of like additional certification through the union, like the Adobe? And are there any works to learn additional academic skills?
Yeah, there's a bunch. I mean, it really depends on like the facility. So I know that Adobe are like a set certifications that actually come from Adobe, but at UAL we just get them for a discounted price. I don't know what they're at right now, but I know they are way cheaper than as they are outside of university.
I think you do
Um,
get them for free as well at times, like at specific times of the year, you can get them for free.
Yeah, also like just
Yes.
attending them is free. You don't have to pay for anything. I believe it's just when you want to like actually certify, that's when you pay. I don't know like exactly for what you get certifications, but I know you can learn like Python, Java, stuff like that on in digital space, but there's also like a bunch of other workshops. So I saw that usually you just get like a induction workshops and then you kind of build up on that skill. I'm not too sure like which ones actually get a certification, but you have the skill. So, it's always an opportunity for you to add that to your portfolio. And if there's a certification, that's just, adds on top of it.
I can confirm that we do certified Adobe classes, so you get a certificate when you do Photoshop, or it could be like Premiere Pro on all the different Adobe software, so you get a certificate out of it. I think one more question: how connected with the other colleges is LCC?
I mean, there's always ways to get connected to students from different colleges through accommodation, like I'd mentioned before. But in general, I think you're welcome onto any campus's library. So if you happen to live closer to one campus than LTC, I live closer to the Stratford campus, the LCF Stratford campus. So I could go there. You also, I think, because of the networking that happens within colleges, you end up assisting on projects at times or contributing to other people's projects, people who aren't necessarily in your course. I have done that as shoot assistant. So it just varies, I guess, from course to course and from person to person. But most of the time, they are pretty well connected, and you're welcome onto any campus across UAL.
Just to add on that as well, you have access on all the different libraries and UAL. So it's interesting to see the differences and maybe hang out with other people as well. We have another question. I'm not sure if you have any thoughts about it, but do you know anything about the design management course, and if you know somebody that has done the course and how hard or how kind of anything around that area? Are you aware of the design? Do you know anything about design management?
Unfortunately not. Yeah, I don't know, you guys.
I don't either, no, sorry. I've worked with someone from design management, but I don't know anything specific about the course.
That's totally fine. Please have a look as well on our YouTube channel, London College of Communication. We do have a lot of different videos that we've done with student voices as well. But also on Unibuddy, you might be able to find somebody as well that doing the course. I think that was our last question. Anything else that you might want to add about your experience in as a student at LCC?
I just want to add that as a final student at UAL, I really enjoyed my time being at UAL. It's such a friendly environment, perfect people. I had a really perfect time, and I won't forget that time for sure. For a long time, maybe even for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Thank you. That was really great. And thank you so much for answering all the questions and telling us all about your experience as a student at LCC and also student life in London. thank you for staying with us and listening to us today. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and please feel free to email any of these contacts on our screen if you have any further questions. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank
Thank you
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.